everyone, and welcome to the Mountainside Podcast. Happy 4th of July to everyone out there. I hope you had a good weekend. Our guest for this episode today is stand-up comedian Brent Gill. He's also the founder of the Boulder Comedy Show and just one hilarious human being. We had a lot of laughs on this episode. We talked about an array of different subjects, everything from cars to meth gators. It got pretty interesting, but nonetheless, I hope you enjoy listening. Welcome, Brent. Welcome to the Mountainside Podcast, man.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Thanks for making the long drive up. I know you had to run the gauntlet, right, to get up here.
It's weird. I feel like when I go to Evergreen, it's never the way that I went.
Right.
It wasn't the way that I went today. It was prettier today. It was definitely through more mountains. And I'm a mountain car driver kind of a guy. I don't have my sports car here, so I had to take it respectably because I was in an SUV. But boy, if I get a chance to get on some mountain roads.
Yeah, there's a bunch of 2-lane roads in here. You can take highways all the way in.
Get people out of my way and give me a low center of gravity, and I'm having fun.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. So what have you been up to since this whole pandemic? I know shows have been shut down and fucking live events are just screwed. And
what have I been up to? Well, I probably should have asked this. Who is your audience? Do you have do you know your audience?
Yeah.
Who's
from
your audience?
Analytics. We have a worldwide audience.
No, but what age group are we, what type of people are we talking about?
So it actually kind of ranges quite a bit far, but I would say the average age is in their 30s to 45, somewhere in there.
Okay. So probably not tell them that I've been masturbating significant. Okay, I understand. Okay. So what have I been doing in quarantine?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can make something up then. No. What have I been doing? I've been taking a break. You know, we're never going to get a break again. That's going to be like this, I think. I don't think people are going to be willing to do something like this again, despite if we get another outbreak. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know people. But even if we do, I hope that with how I'm positioning myself right now, I will not have time to have a break unless it's all right, I'm going to take a vacation. I'm not going to be forced into it. You know what I mean? I have been playing a lot of golf.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of golf. And I have been kind of retooling how I approach this. So I'm a stand-up comedian. We should say that. I'm a full-time stand-up comic and comedy show producer.
And you got a podcast.
And I produce podcasts and stuff like that as well. So I...
cheers to that.
Oh, hell yeah, my friend. Cheers to that. Cheers. So I run a couple of those. But I do the Boulder Comedy Show podcast, which is my live show that I run in Boulder, Colorado, on Sundays at the Bohemian Beer Garden at 7 to 9:15. I've been doing that for 7 years now, every week, and we hit our anniversary in quarantine, which was bittersweet. But it's been interesting seeing how that show. How I can leverage that into a digital space. So I've been doing live streaming shows for that show, and after some trial and error, people who try to do just stand up on a Zoom like medium, I don't want to say they fail, but it sucks. It's the worst.
It's not the same.
It's the worst. And it's the worst for you, the viewer. It sucks for us. So what I've tried to do is I've tried to take this comedy show and basically put it in a comedy and talk show format, right? So, so I go up there, I'll do a little monologue, I'll do the buffoon of the week, which is, we're the buffs of the buffoon. I thought that'd be funny. And that is one weird news story. And then
Is that your information bit or something like that?
Yeah,
because those are hilarious. I caught a couple of those.
It's a rebranded information.
Okay.
Is basically what it is. It's the exact same thing, but it's rebranded to fit into a bunch of different spaces. And so we'll do that, and then I'll do like a round table riff with the comics who are going to be on the show, and then each comic does about 5 to 7 minutes. Then we do a little interview afterwards, as if they got invited to the couch, like a late night thing. And I found that that's a lot more. And I only have 3 comics, maybe 4 comics plus me, and I find that's a lot more enjoyable of a format to still work jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still keep some of that stand-up in there, but also, make it for the people that are watching on their computer or in their living room or something like that, and make it feel a little more
involved,
a little more intimate. Yeah. So.
No, those are great, man. I think the one that I caught was like some guy in Florida or something, and you can correct me on this, but he got pulled over and had like a handgun, a bottle of whiskey, and some uranium or some shit like that. I was like, what the fuck is this? So it's just like the oddest stuff that you can find in the news.
That's just a Florida Tuesday down there. It's a really fun show. I just put one out. NASCAR just banned the Confederate flag. And so this guy named Ray Ciccarelli retired over it. And Ray, his best finish in his 20-something years of racing is 33rd. Like he
shout out to Ray.
He sucks so bad that like even NASCAR trolled him. You know what I mean? NASCAR, he tweeted that he was retiring and he added NASCAR, and NASCAR responds, "We had to Google you to find out what your stats were and who you were, but I'm sure that your dozens of fans are going to be real upset over this."
Wow.
So they trolled it back. So basically what I did was I had my panel part first, and then I had an interview with Clay Ciccarelli, Ray Ciccarelli's brother.
Okay.
Now, Clay Ciccarelli was played by comedian Nathan Lund, and it was so much fun. Because we're basically blurring the lines between reality and comedy. I mean, it's clearly comedy, but we're blurring the lines between it with these silly characters. And it was so much fun. And that's on my YouTube channel as well. And so that is that's going into the podcast. And eventually, once I kind of get in my groove a little bit more, the podcast will take a little more shape, because I have some ideas on how I want to do it. I just don't have the manpower to do it the way I want to do it and in the time I want to do it.
I hear you. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Can we rewind a little bit? I want to know a little bit about your background and where you're from, man.
Whatever you want to know.
Are you from Colorado originally, or?
Pretty much. Yeah. Air Force child. So I was born in Miami at Homestead Air Force Base.
Yeah. And that's a big NASCAR track, isn't it? Somewhere down there.
I could see that. Well, I know Talladega is in Alabama, I believe. That's a huge
We're
one.
going to get off NASCAR. I'm not a NASCAR fan.
Neither am I.
So.
I just like making fun of it. But so I started in Florida. Then we moved to Colorado Springs. And then my dad retired. I think he was teaching like counterterrorism or anti-terrorism or something like that at the university or at the academy. Then he retired when his dad died. And we moved to Georgia, so we could be closer to the family. And then, because they're all Southern. I have Southern roots. I'm a Southern child, but I'm a Colorado boy for sure. So then we moved back to Colorado when I was 13, and I've been in Colorado since I was 13. Well, I celebrated my 13th birthday here. So
you've been here pretty much your whole life.
My whole life, yeah. And like I identify with Colorado. I love Colorado. And this is where I started comedy. This is where I went to university. This is where I did everything here. And I've loved it here. I really have. I don't like where it's going. I don't like where it's at.
Yeah.
But I
that?
certainly did love it here. I certainly did. This is centered around Denver. Mostly.
I know it's not the legalization thing, right?
Well, to be honest, I don't think that was great either.
Yeah.
I don't like corporate mass-grown weed. I liked it when it was underground and medical. I liked it when I could grow my own, and I had... I grew better weed than what I can typically find now, but it's so freaking cheap that it's just like, well, I can get an ounce of pretty good weed for $70.
Right.
So, from Terrapin Care Station. Shout out to my sponsors. They got great weed at great prices. Anyway.
Are they really your sponsor?
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, they're great.
That's great.
So I do love Terrapin.
What is it? Terrapin Care?
Terrapin Care Station.
What a
they
great
got
name.
2 shops in Boulder. They got one in Aurora, one in Denver, and one in Pennsylvania, and I think one in Oregon as well.
Nice.
But they grow great weed at great prices, so I'm like, there's no reason for me to just keep growing weed. And plus, I had expanded my grow room operation into. It was just too big for me. At the time, I was working full time for Apple. I was at the busiest that I've been travel wise for comedy, and I had. At the most, I had 33 plants from clone to flower in an 850 square foot apartment.
That's a pretty good crop in
That's a
it
pretty
in that
good
apartment.
crop. Yeah. So, I was normally cropping about 9 plants at a time, like in flower. But then I had, I'd have to push the mature veg into the flower room early just because I was running out of space. I had a clone room, I had a early veg and like mature veg room, and then I had a flower room. 3 different rooms in this apartment. It was awesome. It was a 1-bedroom apartment too.
Yeah,
it was cool. I walled in a 7x5 grow room in my kitchen instead of like having like a kitchen table. I just walled in a 7x5 grow room, which worked because they had a window there, so I could exhaust everything.
Who needs a dining room table anyway?
It was great.
Just take up space.
Right. It was a fully functioning kitchen still. I never cooked. It was awesome. So, the legalization thing sucks because I also saw a lot of people lose their life savings. Back in the day, I was doing marijuana radio, which we were in the top 10 comedy podcasts for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah, because this was before podcasts were podcasts.
Right.
It was me. It was us, Corolla, Rogan, Dr. Drew. It was like that's what was going on back then.
Yeah,
and
everybody's got one
And
now.
I wanted to buy everything from him. I think all the time what my life would be like if he actually sold me that because I was ready to take a loan out and buy everything. And I often wonder what my life would be like if I had that. Because the problem is I didn't like the fans.
Okay.
I don't like weed heads.
Right.
Like, I have a lot of friends that smoke weed, but I don't have a lot of stoner friends.
Yeah.
Who are like, oh, look at how potent my dab slab is. Like, I don't care about that. Like, these dudes come with these oil slabs, of hash oil that are the size of a cooking sheet. And they're like holding it and they're not doing dabs, they're doing dollops. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm just like, I just don't, this isn't, and I don't want to be a weed comic. I already saw what it did to Doug Benson. So I was glad I'm still glad that I didn't get it.
There's definitely people that can handle it, and there's people that can't handle it at fucking all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I was going to be labeled as that comic, and it was too early in my career to like commit to that. I didn't want to commit to that. I could have pivoted later, but I would always be the weed guy.
Sure.
Always.
It's almost being like a puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Comic.
Like what is Jeff Dunham gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he's like, I hate these puppets, what are you gonna do? Go tell a knock? Like, what do you got nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so good point on that, and so I am glad I didn't get it, but I also wonder where it would be because I had now the same ideas I had then 12, 15 years ago. Now I'm like implementing, and I'm like, boy, a little late, don't you think? 15 years, Joe Rogan just got $100 million to go to Spotify.
Crazy, huh?
Little late, Gill.
Yeah.
But whatever. It wasn't my path.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Everything happens for a reason, I think,
agree
sometimes,
with that.
man.
I think I'm going to end up better on the outside. I'm going to end up happier, and I'm going to end up mentally smarter because I wouldn't have been doing all these drugs for the additional 15 years.
Right. So growing up in school, did you go to public schools, or were you the cool guy? Not so cool guy?
Well, it depends on what era we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I would say that I was the cool guy in Colorado for sure.
Yeah. When Colorado guys get outside of Colorado, they're not so cool anymore.
Well, I'm still pretty cool.
Yeah, no, you're cool.
No, I was going the opposite. When I was young, I wasn't. So I'm a stuttering person. I have a stutter, and I have learned to overcome. Excuse me. There is no overcoming the stutter. I have learned to control my stutter with stand-up comedy. You can Google this. A lot of people like stutterers are opera singers and stuff like that because they're so fluent when they're singing because they're projecting and they are moving that air better, so they don't have the blocks like we normally have.
Probably more mentally tuned in too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Plus, most people's fear is big groups, and I thrived in big groups from a child. I was always into it, and so I have found that through that, and it wasn't on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just I figured out that I could talk. If I'm projecting and I'm talking like this, which is it's not loud, but it's not quiet at all. And I have a lot of hand movements because this is helping push my air out. And I figured out that when I'm talking on stage, I can have this cadence and I can have this rhythm, and then I'm not stuttering at all. And then I've controlled my stutter completely.
Yeah.
And how fucking good does that feel?
Yeah.
I learned that when I came to Colorado, right before I came to Colorado. Right before. I was having a bunch of problems in Georgia, and I was having there's a ton of people.
Yeah, it was Melatilis.
Yeah.
I knew it was somebody.
Yep. I mean, like there's a lot of singers that have stuttering problems, and
Right.
And so I was having a lot of social issues with my parents and behavioral problems and stuff like that. It was a real fuck the world kind of.
You must have
time.
been a cool kid then.
Early I was not, but I went to a private school for 1 year, and then that year there was 13 kids, and I came in friends with one of the cool kids. So I had already known how people would make fun of me. Like I already knew what all the jokes were going to be, and I already knew what all the punchlines were going to be. So then I was like, okay, well, if I can get to the punchline first, I just took your joke, didn't I? And look who looks funny and is comfortable with his stutter and being overweight and yada, yada, yada. And so I came in knowing the cool guy, one of the cool kids. And again, there's only 13 kids in this school,
Right.
or in my grade. And then knowing how to talk better, and knowing how to cut people off, and knowing how to control people, or learning how to control people based off of me cutting them off with my jokes about myself, and then disarming them, and they're like, oh, I guess this guy's pretty cool. That I figured out in 6th grade, and then when I came to Colorado in 7th grade, it was on.
Is that where the light bulb went off
Yep.
for stand-up comedy? And
Yeah. No, it was a little bit later. Not much later. It was, probably freshman, sophomore year. Because at this point, it was very Chris Farley, Adam Sandler. Like those were my two big influences. Were those two?
great influences, by the way.
Yeah. And so when 7th, 8th, 9th grade, I'm doing Chris Farley stuff. You know what I mean? I'm the big kid who's making jokes, so no one makes fun of me because I'm the funny one now. So then I won. So I wouldn't say that's where I wanted to do comedy, but that's where I was learning how to control an audience, how to control a group, and become really comfortable. And I was learning because I was doing Farley. Farley just yells all the time.
Right.
So I'm learning that I'm not stuttering now because
Yeah.
I'm yelling all the time. And I was like, and it was not conscious. It just happened this way.
That's awesome.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'd say about 15, 16 is when I was like, I want to do comedy. My parents took me to a comedy show at my request in Vegas. I saw Judy Gold at the Improv at Harrah's when I was 16. They had to like, not vouch me, but approve that they wouldn't let me drink and whatever. And that was my first comedy show. It did not blow me away. I was not like, I got to do this.
Right.
I think the lights, the stars, the pizzazz is more what I was like. There's Judy. This chick is so damn funny. And she's been a G in the game for 30 years probably. And, she's like one of the perfect examples of New York comedians. You know, she's always on the road. She's always working. She hasn't quite hit it, but she's got her credit list is huge, and she deserves to hit it. It just doesn't work for everyone. You know what I mean? We all can't be Kevin Hart.
Right.
We all want to be we all want to be Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle.
But we want to have the Kevin Hart money and tour type fame. But there's a lot of really good working comics in that top 80%. You know what I mean? There's only so many that can fit in the top 2%, top 5%, but there's a whole bunch that can fit from 80 to 95.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, so I saw her. It was cool, whatever. And then I saw. So when I was 16, so 17, I got a book called Stand Up Comedy: The Book. Read that, and it said, "Emulate the people you like most till you fall into your voice." That might be my paraphrasing of it, but
sure.
And so
that makes a lot of sense, though, right? I mean, it's
total
all about having mentors
in everything.
Yeah.
And I took it as a comedy thing, but shit, now I'm listening to podcasts. I'm like, okay, what do I like about what they're doing? And I might take a piece here or take a piece there, whatever. Or like, oh, I like how they structured this. I like how they thought about it. This changed my thinking on how I'm going to approach podcasts, right? So you emulate people until you find your own voice. And
I do the same exact thing. Even if it's from audiobooks,
It's
just
smart.
listen to the narrators, talk and how they present themselves, or sometimes you'll listen to an audiobook and it's just complete shit because it's not the guy reading it could give a fuck. You know what I mean?
This is a job. I don't care. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think I can't remember if I was 17 or 18, but I did it at my high school talent show. That was the first time I did it, and it went really well. The second night the first night went really, really well. The second night went really well. And I was like, okay, and that's where I think the problem is. If your first like one or two shows, because it was 2 nights in a row,
right.
And it was basically like a 10 minute
you had a residency
monologue,
at the high school cafeteria or whatever, right?
Well, it's for the talent show. So
it
was at night. It was an event. Like they made it an event.
Oh, cool.
In the theater and everything. It was packed. It was really cool. And so I did really well, and then that's where you get in trouble, because I think a lot of comics that don't fully commit to it, they don't have that experience on their first one, and I think that's okay, because we all can't be comedians, and that's all right. We try it, have fun with it, do it a few times. I'm wrong sometimes, but I have found that the ones in my travels that are like, oh, my first show I smashed, and then like my third show I ate shit so hard. I ate it so hard that there, whatever the story was, and that's how mine was too. Like once you go to a real open mic, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But like I went to a safe environment with my friends and family and school members that knew me, so it was a show about kind of me and my observations on the school and life in school. It's great. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I'll do forever.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm 35 soon, in August. Where's my life now? That should be the comedy I'm talking about.
Right.
Problem is we surround ourselves with other comedians, so the only thing we have is just what comedians do, and that's not relatable to people. You gotta have normal friends.
Yeah.
You gotta have normal friends.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
My parents told me that, and they don't know shit about comedy.
So I gotta ask you too, because another thing I saw about you, which cracked me up. Do your friends solar blaze as well? Or? I was like, I've never seen
been following
that before,
me recently.
Dude. Yeah, I did.
You've never seen that before?
No.
We're in fucking Evergreen.
Yeah.
Wow. Solar blaze. Well, for those of you who don't know, Google solar blazing. I'd love to know what solar blazing, what comes up with for solar blazing.
Might just be you.
Just a picture might be on Instagram. Eyes wide closed. It didn't come up. Solar glazing.
Goddamn autocorrect.
Yeah, no. It probably was like, no, it was Google like, you must not mean this. We don't want to turn someone onto this.
Burning their own hands with magnifying glasses.
So, this is probably a song. What was this made in
Oh, that's
1992?
Colorado,
What's
sure.
happening? What the hell? Where was this shot in Boulder in '92? I feel like the Grateful Dead were all still together when they shot this video.
Yeah. Was it really?
Oh, man. Oh, that'd be great. That's funny. So solar blazing is when you smoke weed with a magnifying glass. It's a clear day, or start a fire, whatever you want to do.
Right.
I used to be a pyro. That's how it all started. But it's best with a glass magnifying glass instead of a plastic one. If the lens is actually glass, it's so fast. But basically, it concentrates the light to a point, and then you burn your weed that way. One, it's great if you're smoking with a lot of people because you can pinpoint where you're burning it, so everyone can get greens until it's gone. And then the flavor is fantastic.
It's almost like a laser beam.
It is like a laser beam. Yeah, it really is. And the flavor is great because the flavor, there's no butane in there. There's no burnt anything. Even if you use hemp wick or the hemp rope, whatever you want to use that's dipped in beeswax, whatever brand you use, even that has a burnt wick.
Yeah.
So solar blazing it's a lot greener, brah.
Right.
It's a lot cleaner for the environment, dude. And here's the thing. People say it gets you way higher.
Okay.
I think the reason it gets you way higher is because you're trying to get it started. So you're taking massive rips to get it like stoked, to get it going, and then you're not thinking about it, and then you just take a massive rip because you're focused on the fire, not on the size of the rip. Yes.
Yeah, check this chick out, man. She
Oh, it's
solar
great.
blazed so much her hair is red.
It's good.
Fucking red.
Oh man, it's so funny. She probably smokes like twice a day. You know what I mean? Of course, dude. Anytime I see an attractive woman smoking weed, in the industry, I'm like, I bet you don't really smoke that much weed. Although Brittany, Miss High Times, from 2007, I think, maybe 2008, Brittany, she smoked a lot. She was impressive. And then Dabs came around in like 2009.
That's a whole other world to me.
I got into
heroin or what?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
I got into him hard, and then I got out of it. But yeah, solar blazing is a fun way to. It's just a fun thing to do every now and then.
I'm sure you guys have heard of this, but have you heard about the meth gators down in Florida? There's like the police departments or the CDC or whoever is putting out these warnings like, don't flush your meth down the toilet.
What?
Because then it ends up into the sewer system that then drains into the Everglades or wherever, and they're having all these gators that are hopped up on meth.
You know, I feel like we should go to Snopes.com to validate this one, because if this is real, you got to send me this, because this is an information story. First of all, there are so many stories from Florida that involve gators. Like, did you see the one where the dude was mad at his girlfriend, so he threw a baby crocodile into a Wendy's drive-thru where she worked?
What?
Yeah. Now, I just want to clarify. She worked at Wendy's. That was his girlfriend. That's the caliber of people that we're talking about.
Right.
But yeah, dude, they're throwing baby gators into windows.
Jesus.
Meth gators. Really?
Meth
This
gators.
is on CNN.com.
Yeah. It's a real...
I mean, this is a pretty serious outlet.
I don't. So are they? Okay. So here's my question: are they eating the baggies? Because I would think meth in water will dissolve.
You would think, yeah.
And,
So I can't
gators
think.
are gulping.
But I can't think the amount of meth that Florida is flushing. We know how much they're smoking.
Right.
We have an idea.
Why would you be flushing your own meth, right?
So I have a feeling with how much meth that's getting flushed, it's got to dissolve before the gator can before the parts per million in the water agitates the crocodile.
I'm not a doctor.
Well, I am. I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express 4 weeks ago.
However, I would bet that there's more people eating Adderall and Ritalin and whatever
and pissing it out. You know what? This guy's smart. Jeremy, right?
Yes.
Jeremy. So, funny that you say that. I like that you said that because I read a news story about how the UK, their tap water tests positive on a regular basis for cocaine, like alarming amounts of cocaine
In Britain?
Really?
in Britain, because people are doing.
I thought it would just test positive for despair.
And lack of tartar control toothpaste.
Oh shit! Man.
Yeah, dude. Google UK.
We love you, our UK listeners out there. By the way,
UK cocaine
we're coming
tap
to get
water.
some tap water from you.
Oh, they're probably gonna fucking love it. Like, yeah, it's true though. UK and cocaine tap water. They're doing so much cocaine and pissing it out that they can't clean it out of the water.
Must have been the Sex Pistols,
Dude.
or something. Yeah.
Look at this! Look at this! I fucking told you that. Yes, dude, this shit's hilarious.
That's crazy.
That is so much drugs, and I love it. Dude, I'm so mad that my parents. So we went over to Europe right before they were doing the Olympics in London, and I was like, I want to go to London. My mom's like, it's all under construction because of this, so it's a terrible time to go. I was like, all right, that's fair. So I didn't go, but man, now I wish I would have gone.
Yeah.
Under construction, even better. They probably have more drugs for all the construction workers.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm a big fan of this. So anyway, it could be. It's probably the urine. It's probably not that they're flushing, because Florida's poor and they're like, nah, I'm not gonna flush this. I'm gonna risk getting caught before I flush this.
Or it's some crazy asshole dumping all his chemical waste from.
I can see that. Yeah, like a Florida Walter White.
Yeah.
You know, like a Boudreaux White.
Yeah. Shit, man. What is the world coming to?
I don't know.
It's
We're
crazy,
all screwed.
man.
It's fine.
Are you into music at all? I know you're into the Grateful Dead.
Yeah. Well, this is my comedy show.
Oh, it is.
The
That's
comedy
sweet.
show. A Grateful Dead is all license-free stuff. They
Really?
always have been, always will be. That's what they stood for, and so that's why there's so much.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of what developed into the marketplace that ended up as Grateful Dead show parking lots. You know, like people would just tour with the Dead, and that's how they made their money.
They'd sell merch.
Yeah,
and all kinds of shit.
They'd make their own shirts, they'd make their bracelets, they'd make their own drugs, and whatever it is, and they'd sell it there, and so we can use this for free, and I can make money on it, and it's great. And my host, when and a guy that helps with the show when I'm not there, Jeff Tice, fantastic artist, fantastic comedian. He hosts the show. He did this, and I thought it was really cool. And so I do like the Dead.
I'm gonna pick one of those up. Where can I get one?
If you just go to BoulderComedyShow.com, click on the shop page, and then it's right there. You can choose the ones you want.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a great t-shirt.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Soon I'm going to have the ability to pick any of the 3 logos and any of my shirt colors, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But I think the green.
What about
on
the
this
Grateful
is cool.
Dead Bears? You gonna do something with that?
I might.
Yeah.
I might do Grateful Dead Buffaloes.
Yeah, that's sick.
Because the Buffs, see
Yeah.
the Boulder Comedy Show. I think that'd be more fun. I don't think that they would actually. That's actually a really good idea. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. You want me to edit that out of this?
No. I mean, if you take it. But you're not going to take my show's stuff.
Hey, if we
it's
got
my
a lawyer
show.
next door, and I've said it before, we will sue the shit out of you.
That's fair. That's fair. Grateful Dead Bears. Yeah, for real.
Making too much noise over here.
But yeah, so I like all music. I will say that there's some music I like less than others. But I can find something in every genre that I like. Music I like less than others. Pop country. I like less. Again, I can find Eric Church. I enjoy the shit out of his music. I don't know if he's classified as pop or not. He doesn't seem like it. But this whole genre of I'm a badass cowboy,
right.
It's 2020. Shut the fuck up. You probably live in Nashville, and I've been in Nashville, and that's not the badass cowboy shit. That's the LA of the East.
Yeah.
But so I like that. I love outlaw country, old country. Waylon, Hank Jr. I like Hank Sr. I'll even there's a couple songs that the Third made that I like. Willie Nelson, of course. That's someone I want to see before he dies. I'm gonna be mad if I don't see him before he dies. David Allan Coe, George Strait and George Jones, like those.
Yeah,
I
George
love
Jones
those Johnny
stuff.
Cash, those guys. I love that era of music for sure. I'd say if I had to pick anything that I could listen to at any point, it would be described as what my friend and my best friend calls, who's the master at music. Oh, you just like white boy funk. And I was like, that just hurts so bad. But you are correct.
Right.
I love funk.
So like some Chili Peppers type
No,
stuff,
that's
or-
not funk to me. Like
Yeah.
like J.J. Gray and Mofro.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
Those guys are it's funk, but it's like cleaned up funk. It's like the Stevie Ray Vaughan to Jimi
I love
Hendrix.
Stevie Ray, though, yeah.
But Stevie was so perfect and Jimi Hendrix was not.
Right.
And so it's kind of like that. You know
Okay.
what I mean? But fucking A, like the Manhattans, like classic song, the Manhattans, doo-wop, like that kind of music. I love that stuff. I love, if it just depends on my mood. I love some Jack Johnson, some easy listen, some happy music generally is what I like. When it comes to rap, I love a good beat. I hate mumble rap, but their beats, some of them are pretty good. I think DaBaby is about as like nonsensical. This is ridiculous what you're saying, but this is really fun to listen to. I think he's about as far as I'll go with that because he worked. Also, too, I probably just like his work ethic
Right.
a lot, which is why I'm like, all right, I can tolerate this music. Because he's got some tracks that I'm like, I'll listen to this 17 times in a row. Like Toes by DaBaby is
That's it.
And I call
Before
him...
you're going on stage, or
I
what?
call him... Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It gets you jacked
I
up.
call him... It's DaBaby, but I call him DaBaby for some reason. But... My walk on stage song is Check Yourself by Ice Cube at like 17 seconds.
Nice.
Or like 19 seconds. That's right.
Some real gangster shit, right?
Yeah. But it's not super gangster.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like Ice Cube, it does have some gangster shit, and it's not super. The beat of it is fun and happy, kind of a thing.
Yeah. If you like country and you like funk, you should check out this band. And actually, one of our guests turned us on to it. Shout out to Hunter. The California Honey Drops. You heard
Oh, yeah,
those
they're
guys?
great.
They're awesome.
They're great,
Yeah,
for sure.
Me and
for
Jeremy
sure.
have been rocking that a
They're
bunch.
great. Raphael Sadiq is great as well. He's kind of in that genre as well. But the Honey Drippers are great. They're really good. And it is. It's like a doo-wop funk like of 2020. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they started around like 2015. They probably started around 2012. But
It's got a Motown-y vibe to it.
yeah,
Yeah,
it really kind of does. Same with Sadiq as well, Raphael Sadiq. The problem with him is I think is too married to the art, and I think he's not willing to bend. And I have, about 6 minutes of thought towards this statement I'm about to make. But his tickets are so fucking expensive, and I'm like, you're not really well known yet, but your music is really cool, Motown, big band sounding stuff. And I understand that you have a lot of musicians on stage, and I do believe that everyone should get paid. I just can't spend $90 on general admission to go see you. I'd be happy to spend $50 plus fees, which is tough,
Right.
but I just couldn't spend $90 on it. And
It's gotten so expensive.
it's a lot of money.
We'll see what happens after all this,
Dude,
Yeah.
Live Nation is freaking out right now.
Oh,
I bet.
I would imagine,
I don't know.
yeah.
They're trying to do like drive-in theater.
And they're a publicly
type stuff.
traded company.
That's what I'm
too,
saying.
So
Like,
it
they're
is just
freaking out because
fucking
there's
tanking.
Right. That
bad.
was my intention behind that comment is their stockholders are freaking out, which therefore they're freaking out because like, oh God, we've spent all of our money buying everything, and boy, you never thought that once you buy everything and you're the monopoly, well, when everything shuts down, guess who's losing all the money?
Yep.
You are.
Yep.
So,
Definitely puts it in perspective and
Right.
puts it in check a little
Right.
bit,
Right. So that definitely, hopefully it'll break up some of these big businesses and maybe they'll sell off. All right, we're going to sell off our this side of the business, and we're going to keep focusing
Concentrate on this.
because these companies try to be jacks of all trades. They try to own everything so they can make all the money from every outlet there is, period, to make money in this funnel. But if the speaker division of this company, like I'm thinking in
Bose, right?
computers
For example,
right now,
yeah.
right? So if Bose is like, okay, our car audio speakers are the lowest making money thing in this, and our portable speakers, headphones are the biggest. We're going to cut this and maybe sell off this portion of it to Rockford Fosgate or to Fender, who's in VW, or to Bang & Olufsen, who's in Mercedes, or to Harman Kardon, who's in BMW. We're going to sell this off to them and just let them do it.
Right.
I love car guys. They just like, let me break this down for you. I'm gonna put this in a car perspective for you.
Yeah.
That's the only way I know how to do things.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah, Jeremy's a big car buff back there.
Oh,
He's got
okay.
a classic
Yeah, I'm a fucking
Porsche.
dork.
And,
Oh,
Yeah.
what do
So-
you got?
I got an old 911.
Dude, what year do you have? The
80.
air-cooled?
80. Yeah.
Oh, God.
But
Wow.
but it's funny because
Hold on to that
it's the
gold
only,
mine.
I know. It's funny. Stupid. Not like you listened to this. Stupid Mac Farah like 4 years ago, like making. Yeah. Okay. Prices are going up. Okay, SC guys. Like,
Dude,
I got it. But
so Matt Farah, I respect what he does.
He's great.
I like what he does. I follow him. I enjoy him. But he has rubbed me the wrong way a couple times in person and on his show. and I'm like, all right, like you got to take everything that everyone says with a grain of salt, Right. And he wouldn't be in a position that he is in if he wasn't really good at what he does. And he does have a lot of good points.
Total pro.
But it's great to see when they're wrong.
It's one of the best things is to watch somebody sink every once in a while. Yeah.
I'd love to be right.
That's right. So
No, but I don't know how to put anything into any sort of perspective when I'm doing like a metaphor or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, well it's just like buying one of these in like 2000.
Right.
It's the only way I know how to do things.
I'm still trying to get an E92 M3, and I still think it's a good idea to buy one. I have a hard time buying a car to drive every now and then.
Dude, don't get anything new. Get everything old.
Absolutely not.
Buy
I mean,
everything old.
everything old.
You'd be better off buying a 325 IS and sitting on it.
well,
than you
the
would
ISs
anything.
are dope, by the
I know.
way. Shit, buy a 325 IS and then drop a new 335i
No,
N55 motor in there.
Don't touch it.
Well,
You buy it,
all right,
you don't touch
fair
it.
enough. All right, if you buy an IS, you are correct. Don't touch it. But if you buy just a regular old bullshit 318i, then go drop a new motor in there.
You can start getting wild. Yeah. Sure.
That'd be fun. I have a 330 Ci E46.
Wait, what year?
convertible. 04. So
04.
after the
Okay.
facelift. And it's my favorite car
Can
to
you
drive
pull up
ever.
a picture of that, Jeremy?
Hold on a second.
It's the convertible.
Sweet.
Yeah, I've had faster cars. I've had
And is
Colorado guy.
that in LA or
That's
because you
in
split
LA.
your time, right?
Correct.
Or something?
So my X5 is here. My 330 is out there. I used to have a Subaru 2.5 Legacy GT, which it was 2012. There were only 263 of them made.
Said 0406.
04. And yeah,
it's a hot car, dude.
It's great.
E46s are great.
Dude,
I had an E30. I had 95 E36 M3.
Yep. This one, okay,
And-
so the one, the 04, wait, that one right there. That one. That's what my car looks like. I don't have those,
God damn.
I don't have those
yeah,
rims.
but you don't need those rims.
And I don't have that M front fascia because that's the M, that was on the ZHP right there. That's probably a ZHP model
Yeah, it
with
is.
the M knockoff CSL wheels. But
matter, it's a good car.
you show this to your audience when they're listening to it. But this is a
Ladies, pay attention.
this is a gray car. It's a convertible, ladies, and the bumper looks more sporty than other bumpers, and the wheels look neat. It's called a mesh style wheel,
So I
and
gotta ask the question:
Yeah.
How many chicks have you pulled in it?
in that car, I'd be lying if I said zero. Okay. I'd be lying if I said zero.
Are those the stock ones? Those are stock wheels.
So those are ZHP stock wheels. I don't have those. I have the Style 71s, which is the two-piece.
Oh, God, we're dorking out here.
I know.
Hi, this is the BMW CCA podcast.
I'm a member. I'm a fucking
Of
proud
course you
member
are.
of the CCA.
What, do you have a badge on your grill?
Yeah. Okay, so this blue one on the convertible to the left of the white one, right by where it starts all pictures, keep going left, right there. Those are what my wheels look like.
Oh, they're hot, dude.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Two-piece, like
Those
true
are all right.
two-piece wheels.
Yeah, that's fine.
Black interior. It's really fun.
Nah,
It's an automatic, which I regret getting, but I do live in LA, and it does have the Steptronic.
That's the only region that you can sit there and say, well,
it's justified.
I don't have a 5-speed, and then they go, no, you fucking, and then you go, I live in LA, and you go, oh, that's fine.
That's
man.
fine. Yep,
Yeah,
I get it.
Totally fine.
I
man.
get it.
Yeah.
Shit, you can find stick shifts for cheap in LA because no one wants them there.
Right.
I sold mine after about a year of having it there. I brought it back to Colorado to sell my Subaru in Colorado because no one gives a shit about a Subaru in LA.
They could give a fuck. But
Right.
in Colorado, that's a hot car, man.
Right. And it was stage 2 tuned by Cryotune in Longmont. And it was, at the wheels, I was at, I think, 264 at the wheels on all-wheel drive. So at the crank, I'm probably pulling, over 300 easy because you lose so much power
Little
from
race
crank to
car.
all-wheel drive. It was really fun.
Yeah.
But this Beamer, it's so fun. It's a little natural aspirated or straight six. Good amount of torque to it. The thing is it feels like you're going faster than you're actually going.
Oh, it's the best part.
And that, yeah.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Is the best part about old cars is because they're more visceral.
Yes.
There's a lot more
You
to it.
feel it. You feel like you're
going
driving a
faster.
car.
You can buy a
Everything's so smooth nowadays, and all the auto control and sensors
air
and all that
suspension,
shit.
magnetic ride.
You can buy a $250,000 sports car that you can never
feel it.
You can never push it to the
Right.
limit. And my car, your car.
Shit, you take a turn in these at 60, you feel like you're going 120 miles an hour. It is
Holy
so
shit,
fun.
I'm out of control, and
It's
you're not going to get
fun.
arrested.
Yeah.
That's what
Great.
it's all about,
Yeah.
right? When
It's
you have
so
a car,
fun.
it's about driving it.
Yeah, it really, really is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, I think that's the problem is a lot of people don't really get that. They think, it's just like weed. If you want to go into that THC number, so I got to have high THC, I got to have high horsepower. The
Right.
horsepower, the torque. And you're like, yeah, fine, but your butt is below the center of gravity. It's below like the wheelbase almost. And you're in this 50-50 split like weight ratio car that you pull in a turn and you feel it hunker down.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is fun.
And I get it, because I'm a bike guy, really.
Yeah, okay.
That's my passion. So, like,
Motorcycles?
feeling the road, and not, like, a brand new Harley either. I'm talking, like, carbureted, where you're kind of down messing with the choke a little bit. That sort of thing. It
takes some finesse to it.
Yeah.
You feel one with the bike because you got the choke just right.
Yeah.
For it to run smoothly until it's up at temperature and you put it back in, you're fine.
Me too, man. The one thing I love about Jeremy is, like, he'll drive that Porsche in the dead of winter, and we live up here in the mountains. Like, I saw him go through town, because it's a small town. We run into each other all the time. I saw him going through town with a fucking Christmas tree strapped to the top of his Porsche, right? And I was like, his kids were in the back, and I was like, that's something that they will never forget, where so many people would just leave it sitting in a garage.
Absolutely.
And never drive it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I lucked out with this car. I really did, because I kind of got into it. I had a lot of information on it, but
Do you
not
need
as
some
much.
more ice?
No, I'll take some more ice. Sure.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter. But I kind of got into it with some information, but not a ton of information. Thank you.
Yeah.
On E46s, I knew the M54 S54 motor was just a legendary motor, and I knew it was the year that they made it. So it was probably as good as it was ever gonna get. Now I didn't realize it until later, but it's as small as I could ever get because it fits my full set of golf. If it can fit 2 full golf clubs in there, 2 full sets.
In the convertible.
In the convertible with the top down. I will have to take the long sticks out and put them on top, but it can fit 2 full clubs. It can also, with the top up and the trunk expansion, so you can't put the top down. You can put a push cart and my clubs in there, and I mean, there's no car that like your Porsche couldn't do that on the inside. And I want a Porsche so
that's
fucking
bad.
That's
why you get a roof rack.
I want it so bad, and yes, I want a Safari Porsche like that. That's what like that one that Matt Farah has. That looks so cool, but.
Yes, the King cars. Yeah.
Right. But the biggest thing is that like it fits all the stuff I want in there, and I was able to move with it, and it's a convertible, and it's fun, and there's nothing wrong. Like I'm gonna supercharge it next.
Right.
Like
that's perfect.
And that's gonna keep the motor lasting forever. It's not turboing, so I'm not blasting a ton of hot air in there. I'm just gonna put a couple pounds of boost in there, and
that's clean, by the way, too. You didn't.
Yeah, that M3 is. I want one of
those.
Yeah, but
one sold for close to $80,000.
Oh yeah,
$80,000.
Oh yeah,
and here it is, 16,000. So
if you can find one with like 20,000 miles on it,
I like sending this to my friend who got one, and he decided to turn it into a track car and beat the shit out of it.
Ouch.
And now a good one's $90,000. And, and he like gave it away, raced out.
Wow.
It is funny.
That's sweet,
it's just like the Ford Focus RS. Yeah. They never thought that Ford was going to stop, and the dudes that bought those sold them for double what they bought them for, with like 50,000 miles on it.
Crazy.
It's
for a Ford
really
Focus.
For a Ford fucking Focus, right?
No one cares about this. I know every.
But I love it though.
Hey, I will dork out on this stuff for hours.
It's wild that people. It's not wild. Car guys like me are finally like growing up and realizing we don't like new cars.
Right.
We don't like all
They
this stuff
suck.
in there,
and they all look the same.
Well,
too.
also we can't fix it. I can't do anything with this because I gotta fucking plug it into a goddamn computer.
You gotta take it somewhere, yeah.
And only BMW has the iDrive computer, and I'm like, I just want something mechanical, something that I can go to a BMW independent shop and spend half of what a dealership would charge me. Because a dealership shouldn't be working on 20-year-old cars.
Nope.
A dealership should be working on 5 to 0-year-old cars.
And it's almost like they knew.
Absolutely.
They do it on purpose.
But it was after this. Here's my theory. Oh, okay. After this, we'll stop. I promise. Here's my.
No, we're good. Keep going. Keep going.
Here's my theory. My theory is when the economy collapsed in 2008, car manufacturers were like, okay, what are we going to do to continue to sell cars? Because right now the theory of car selling is you buy a good car to last you for a long time. And when you want a new one, you will get one. Then when 2008 hit and everything collapsed, like, okay, well, we need to keep making cars for cheap now. And instead of making a car that'll last them 30 years, why don't we make a car that lasts for about 5? We'll make plastics and stuff and computer stuff that for around 5 to 10. We'll age it out to 10, hope it breaks at 5.
Right.
And then we'll push everything for the upgrade now era. The upgrade your phone, upgrade your computer, upgrade your car era. And so because we're making things cheaper, it all came together of we're making things cheaper to cut costs, and we want them to buy better cars. I had an 04 Legacy GT that I loved more than my 2012 Legacy GT. Those 4th gen and 5th gen, so those 4th gen and 5th gens was a major difference. The 4th gen, the door felt like a tank. The metal felt dense and solid and thick. The seats were tight, good leather. The 2012, the 5th gen Legacy was squishy. It was soft. It was very comfortable. The technology was kind of lacking, fine. The driving was a little washy because it was comfortable. And the metal was so fucking thin. Anything would dent this car.
It's crazy what'll dent a car
Because
now.
think how much steel costs.
Well, think about how cars get totaled now.
Absolutely.
They're just fucking totaled. One wreck and you're
Because they're
done.
so cheaply made. And
Dude.
so it's crazy to see how many... to me, it's like a bum rush or like a gangbusters or gold rush to go buy well-kept cars. For me, my era is 2000 to 2006, maybe 2007, maybe 08. But just once computers started to take over in 07, 08, 09, I was out.
Right.
I was out. And my tank, my doors on both my 330.
But
and
that's
my
your
X5
daily
are
driver in LA,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The Beamer?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think we could agree cars and country music
Is better.
and probably comedy.
Sometimes women.
Yeah, I was gonna say women because I'm way into older women for sure.
Well, it depends on how old, I guess.
Older
right?
women are shit. I've dated women in their 50s.
Hey, you were just telling me too, Jeremy. Sorry to interrupt you, but some dude beat the Cannonball record in a rental car like Mustang or something, right?
Yeah.
Wait, but did you
done,
see
it's
that
done.
S8 though, or that A8 that did it?
An A8 did it. That was actually from where I grew up.
That was way cooler about it.
Yeah,
We're
but
supposed to stop talking about cars.
No, it's
but
all
that-
good,
it was-
man.
all
We
right,
can
that
talk
was-
about whatever
it
the
was-
hell
it
we
was-
want
It
here.
was actually shattered. This was all during the COVID thing. It was
oh, yeah.
actually shattered 5 times.
During
so
COVID.
That A8 thing
Was shattered twice since
toast.
it did it. Yeah.
Toast. It's gone.
So for those of you who don't know, the Cannonball Run is a legendary race from New York to Los Angeles.
Red Car Garage in New York
Yep.
to the
Portofino
in Redondo Beach.
Exactly, and it's across, and it's how fast can you get there with, and it's all legal rules apply. If you get pulled over, you get a fucking ticket. If you, it's not a formal race; it's all underground, and some people were getting like I remember seeing one article about that Audi that did it. So this Audi did it. They put a huge gas cell in their trunk.
Yeah, it was like a marine
Oh,
cell.
okay.
Yeah, so they didn't have to stop very often. Plus, it was early COVID, so no one was.
But
on
there's
the
no
fucking
rules that
roads.
apply. You could have NOS,
However,
whatever, right?
of course, but
And those dudes got shit on so hard.
oh, they got
And
so shit on.
And I loved it.
Oh,
That was my
did you?
favorite. Oh, I love.
I was the dude because everyone was saying that doesn't count. You didn't have to. You blah blah. I was like, fuck that. That's
Oh no! I love that they got shit on because I love that they got shit on
because they
that's
did it.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
awesome.
They were
was so
smarter.
cool.
They came up with something more innovative.
Dude, the rig
About it.
Yeah.
they were so smart about it that you have to shit on them.
Yeah.
I love that they gave a middle finger to everyone.
It was awesome.
And said, I'm going to take
People were
advantage of
so
this
fucking mad
and do
about
Yeah,
it.
they were so mad.
Which fuck them though.
Hoes were so mad.
Yeah, which, dude, this is an illegal race. This is
Yeah.
an illegal race.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Exactly.
None of this is real.
The
None of
rules
this
do not
counts. Like,
apply.
what are we talking about? This is basically the COVID Cannonball era is the Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa era, the steroid era of baseball.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's just
the COVID ball run.
the COVID ball run. That's what it was. But the ingenuity of them to create that car like that, to put a crazy fuel cell in the trunk, and to have, I think it was 3 dudes doing it, and to have a car that could handle that kind of high speed, high temperature for 26, what was it, 24, 26 hours?
I think it was like 27 and a half.
Yeah.
It was a little higher. They're down to 25 now.
Yeah.
I mean, the one dude, I don't know what kind of speed he was eating that did it solo in a rental Mustang.
A rental car Mustang.
At like 25 and a half hours. Like, it's crazy.
I do love the fact he did it in a rental car.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I can't afford to fuck up my car.
Can I get the free upgrade?
I'm doing this way. Yeah, exactly. I'm a premier member.
Yeah.
Can I get the
No, I'm going to get
Mustang?
that super sport Camaro over there in the corner if that's fine.
Yeah.
No, but you got a spotter in the middle of an A8. It's a luxury car. You can
A lot of space.
tons of room.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Big trunk, too. It was all great how they
It's
did
the
it. It was
modern
very
day
fun.
Lincoln
It
Continental,
was very
man.
fun. That's the next podcast topic I'm doing. I just haven't gotten around to scheduling it, of like the Cannonball Run, why it's fun, and why it shouldn't, and why people need to calm down over it.
All right.
know.
Right.
We need to talk after this.
I'm in. We'll move on.
Let's talk LA and venues and compare crowds compared to Colorado. You like perform in one place better than the other, or?
I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's a fair question.
Yeah.
I'll answer it. I'm trying
I guess
to.
I kind of
I'm
phrased
trying to say
that question wrong.
You
too.
really
Like,
did.
I set you up.
Yeah,
for-
you set me
what
for
I-
a really long answer.
What I meant was venue-wise.
So like Comedy Works versus
Okay.
like the Comedy Store, or
Okay,
like
gotcha.
like favorite places to play. I guess was
Gotcha.
more
Okay.
where I was going. With
Gotcha. Comedy Works is one of the best places in the world to tell jokes. Wendy Curtis has done the most fantastic job that you could imagine building that club over the past 30, 40 years. I think it was 83 when it was created. So she's done such a great job there. In the country, it's for sure top 5, no question. I put Acme up there. I haven't done that. I just have heard Acme is up there. The Comedy Store for sure. In the Comedy Store Hollywood.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other places. I think the Punchline in San Francisco is pretty cool, but there's a couple other places that are just legendary spots, right? Now, I'd say in Hollywood, so for Denver, it's Comedy Works. And I think that there are a lot of good shows. I think Boulder is a very good show for where it's at. You know, people think comics think bar shows, and they have one idea for it. Well, I've created a venue inside of a bar. So it's not a bar show. This is a club.
And is that part of the Boulder Comedy Festival?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, no. Boulder,
Okay.
there's a lot of terms you're throwing around there that you
Sure.
might not.
I don't know. I'm trying to.
You
figure
might
it
not
out.
know what
Yeah.
you're saying. Boulder Comedy Festival was a thing that someone was trying to do. I have nothing to do with that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I the Boulder Comedy Show is what I run. I started this, and a lot of people have just kind of run with what I've done, which imitation is the best form of flattery. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all loving what I do. It does bother me a little bit because Boulder has never been cracked. I'm the longest running show in Boulder history.
Really?
In the history of the town of Boulder.
That's awesome, man.
I'm the
Cheers
longest.
to that.
I'm the longest comedy show ever.
Fuck yeah.
So the thing with that is, it's because I treated it like a venue. I figured out I started comedy in Boulder. I know what the people of Boulder like. I know what I know what they are like. Which are two different things. And so I think that's what has given me the step up on everyone else to have a thing that's success. And I have basically broken Boulder as a town I've broken them in to the thought of comedy can exist here. Comedy does exist here. And comedy is like this. This is not an open mic. This is not a place for people to work stuff out. This is a real show with a real kitchen, a real bar, and a real comic that knows what the fuck he's doing. So therefore, he's going to create a good environment for you. So you come in and you're like, I don't know, but you leave and you're like, well, I know now. This was great.
Yeah.
And so I think that was huge. What was a big step for Boulder as a town to accept comedy, and a lot of shows have popped up since then.
Do you have anything on the books right now that's coming up, or
for Boulder?
Yeah.
Well, we do a live stream every Sunday night at 7:00 Mountain Time at the website bouldercomedyshow.com.
Nice.
And so so I still do that until we can be live again. Likely we won't be live until August, and we'll have limited seating in August.
Yep.
So that's a fantastic experience.
And you've had some outstanding comics perform there in the past, right?
Hassan Minaj has done it. He's got his own show. He's had his own show for a long time on Netflix. He was a Daily Show correspondent for a while. Dulce Sloan was on there. We've had Sean Patton has been great. Ron Lynch. Josh Blue's done it a handful of times.
He's a Colorado comic as well, right?
Yep. Clayton English has done it. He also won Last Comic Standing. I get real comics. I fly them in. It's the real deal. And so that's been pretty cool for Boulder. And then
you can go and watch some of the old ones on YouTube. Is actually how I found you.
So we do have some old ones on YouTube as well, for sure. Some clips. It's a real bummer because the hard drive I had that had like a year and a half of shows. I don't know what happened. It's bummer, gone. Man. So that sucks. So moving forward after all this COVID stuff, I understand how things are moving, and that's part of this whole where I'm moving and everything. But anyway, I am that's Colorado though, and I think the fans are really good because the fans don't have entertainment, and the entertainment they have is really good. Because what artist doesn't want to come to Colorado, especially now?
Yeah.
All artists, 90% of artists do drugs, smoke cannabis, mushrooms, whatever your deal is, they're into it, at least weed. So what artist wouldn't want to come to Colorado? Our audience is great because who wouldn't want to live here? We got mountains, we got lakes, we got everything you can imagine, plus the legalization stuff. So people want to be here, so our audience is great. Our audience is...
Not to mention our venues, like music venues, like
our
Red
music
Rocks
venues are
stuff
fantastic.
like that.
They're
And you've
pretty.
played
They're
there,
real.
haven't
I
you?
have done Red Rocks twice, actually.
That's awesome.
It was the coolest.
Yeah.
I had sex in the green room. Fuck yeah. It's been great. So that's something that's unique to Colorado, and I think that a lot of the people that live in Colorado are very happy, and so therefore they come to the show happy, and the vibe is good, and people. I had to leave here because this isn't real. Like the response I'm getting isn't real. This isn't. I just know how to work them, I guess, but this isn't a real response. I got to go to Iowa.
Because you were worried about sinking somewhere else or bombing somewhere else?
No. By real, I mean this is too easy.
Okay.
I need to go to Oklahoma, Dayton, Sarasota. Wherever. I need to go to these different places in America that aren't so easy.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that this is as good as I think it is. My jokes are as good as I think they are. Because it's a good reality check once when you figure that out. So that's Colorado. When you go to LA, you are moving to the city of industry. Okay? Now, if you just want to do stand-up comedy and just do comedy, period, you go to New York. These are all my opinions.
Right.
Everyone has their own path. When you just want to do stand-up, you go to New York. When you want to do TV, internet, film, the other things around it, you go to LA. The problem is being a comedian is very valuable in LA, and being a good comedian is even more valuable in LA. However, you are so watered down by all the garbage actors whose managers and agents are like, you should get into comedy because that's more sellable, right? We can pitch you better if you're a comedian. I'm a comedian first and foremost. I'm an entertainer second. Like or an actor second. I'm a fucking entertainer, comedian. I am fun.
Right.
I can riff. I'm in the moment. I got it. I got comedic timing. I have all that. Actors do not have that. I don't know how to act. And if you're doing commercials and shows, you at least need to know how to act a little bit.
Right.
So that's where I kind of struggle a little bit, and I'm getting better. I'm trying to get better. I'm taking classes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But so the point of all this is when you go to LA, the shows are so watered down with actors trying to be seen in any way they can, so they're doing comedy. Now, some of those actors are actually pretty good at comedy. Adam Ray is a great example. He used to open for Brad Williams for a long time, and now he's a full-on headliner on his own. And Adam Ray is he's an actor who did comedy, and he's really good at it. And that's very rare. It's very rare when an actor is good at comedy. It's not rare. It's not uncommon for a comedian to be good at acting. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're
Well, looking at how many stand-up comedians turn into actors.
Of course.
Mean, that's where their career
Of
just kind
course.
of ends up.
Of course.
Yeah.
And if you give me a script,
Unless you're Dave Chappelle and say fuck all
of
this.
course.
Right?
Well, it was just too much work
Yeah.
to run his show how he wanted it run, and Comedy Central wasn't willing to give him what he needed to make it happen. All right, we don't need to get into that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Great comedian though. Love him.
the best.
Yeah.
So the in LA though, so you have all these extra actors that are kind of like doing it. So the mindset behind going to a comedy show in LA is different. Again, don't forget, I just said that everyone in Colorado is very happy. We have a lot of fun things to do here. People are in a good mood here. We don't have any industry. So when industry comes here, it's a big deal.
Right.
People are excited. They give them their best behavior. In LA, it's all industry. And you have a bunch of people that aren't supposed to be comedians trying to be comedians, and so the general feeling that has grown towards comedy shows is like, ugh, all right, we gotta sit through 5 terrible people to find one good person who's at the end of the show, so let's show up late. So therefore all comedy shows start late in LA, especially if they're not at a club, if they're independent shows. There's a huge indie scene because the club scene is very closed off to comics because it's so overrun with actors who aren't comedians. So when I go to a club, I'm like, hey, I'm on the roster at Comedy Works, have been forever. I'm one of their headliners. They're like, I'm sure you are. Hop in line.
Right.
And you're like, no, but for real. And then you get put on a show that's in a shitty situation with a bad audience, and your comedy skills kick in. You're like, I need to survive, and I need to make these people feel like they had a good time. And this is not a good representation of what I do for my comedy chops. And these are not the jokes that I would normally do. But I want them to have a good time, because these other people are just forcing their fucking terrible jokes on this poor audience of 12 in a room of 200.
Right.
Like, it's just, there's so I think that the industry out there has just been, it's too stepped on too much. And I think that that if you want to be a successful Los Angeles comedian, you have to leave Los Angeles 1 weekend a month to do comedy elsewhere. That's my theory. Awesome. So I think the venues out there, the Comedy Store is fantastic. I think the audience that comes there is a good audience. I really do. I think a lot of comics would disagree with me. I think that comics that aren't there to entertain, they're there to push their set or their agenda, if you will, don't like it because there's a lot of tourists.
Right.
I get a lot of the same complaints about, oh, I hate the store because of blank. When I hear, oh, I hate this club in Vegas because of blank. And a lot of times blank...
Because you don't know what you're walking into? Is that
yeah,
part of it?
Yeah, it's a lot of tourists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tourists, this is why I'm saying you got to leave once a month.
Right.
Because tourists are middle America.
Yeah.
And you have to go to middle America so you can make sure your jokes are funny to everybody. And if your jokes are funny to everybody, they're going to be funny to tourists. And if that's the case, then they're still funny to everybody. And you know what that's good for? Television.
Right.
Doing late night. Getting one of those spots because they know your jokes should be good for everybody. So I definitely give credit to the clubs. There are some clubs that I don't like that I think don't get it. I think in my future I will own a club. I think that's my retirement plan. As of now, I'm gonna start a club in a town somewhere. You know, I don't know if I'm going to be in LA for my entire career. If I'm in LA for my entire career, I probably won't start a club. I might start a place inside of a place like I do in Boulder. But if I get tired of Los Angeles, which some people do, I'll start a club somewhere else, and that'll be my thing.
Yeah, I lived in LA for 20 years in Hermosa.
20 years?
Yeah.
Damn.
Left here. This was the worst place in the world, and it all came full circle, man. I'm back now, and
yeah,
love it. I don't really miss it that much.
Hermosa's fun.
I miss my friends.
The rec room at in Hermosa
yeah, I've
Beach.
seen a few shows there.
It's at Glow Zone.
Yep.
It's in that. Again, same concept. An establishment, a business within a business, and I love that business model. For people like me, I don't have to worry about a liquor license. I don't have to worry about underage serving. I don't have to worry about overserve. None of that falls on me.
Exactly.
And so I like that about some clubs for sure. And but yeah, so I'll say I don't love comedy in LA. I love living in LA. I love being out there. I love the opportunity. I love my friends out there. The amount of high power people you're around in the industry and in your field and all that stuff. But it's
because you've opened
tough.
up for a lot of big names too, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say regularly open for David Spade, but more than 10 times I've opened up for him.
Yeah.
In several different states, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
God, now I'm trying to think of who else I've worked for. He's kind of the one that takes me out with him. But again, there are those people out there that can make a difference, and it's just really fun to be out there. But it is, stand-up wise, it's a challenge. It is a brutal challenge. And I think if you leave once a month, then you're like, oh, okay,
right,
I get it. I'm funny, and I know I'm funny, and I know I'm good at what I do. And LA has got their head up their ass, and it's not that. Again, you still have to play you have to play their game.
Sure.
But you just get to remind yourself, you're still good at your craft. It's okay. LA will find you when they're ready. And in the meantime, you better start making some business moves for yourself and some show moves for yourself that you have control over. I have no control over when LA decides that they want me or not.
Right.
I have no control over when the film is just like, that's the guy. I have no control over that. I do have control over me going to acting classes and getting better. I have control over me going to workshops and getting better. And I have control over me building a platform and a business on things that I can do and that bring me joy.
And aren't those things always the best? I mean,
they really are.
Yeah,
and your audience is going to love you so much more because they're like, you clearly enjoy this.
You're doing what you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they love that. They love that feeling that like, this is great.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So when you're in Colorado, are you an outdoors person? You mountain bike or rock climb or any of that?
I'm a big hiker.
Yeah.
I love hiking.
Okay.
I love hiking. I will go on pretty much any difficulty of hike. You know what I mean? I don't like strolls though.
Yeah.
If I'm hiking, I am hiking up this mountain.
Right.
And I will hike with some friends, some female friends of mine, and when I go with them, I have to keep in my head like, okay, they're gonna go slow. So sometimes I'll like go hike ahead and I'll hike back to them, and just so I can get my heart rate up, because when I don't exercise. When I exercise, I'm walking 18 holes of golf, or I'm hiking up a hill. I like to distract.
Well, hiking up a hill is great exercise.
Huge exercise.
Especially if you got a backpack
and
it's
an
altitude.
Best. It's the best.
Yeah.
So, I want to limit my I have to exercise moments. And if I can trick myself into it with a cool hike and some solar blazing, then I'm into it. You know what I mean? And,
just make sure you're hitting the pipe and not that dried up bush over there, right? Jesus.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm a big hiker. I don't mountain bike much. I do like riding my bike. I'll ride my bike about 10 miles for exercise.
Well, it can be so aggressive, man.
I'm not good at that.
Pretty gnarly.
I'd rather walk up and down it.
Especially because they get ridden so much, man.
Yeah.
They just get rutted out.
Yeah, and my bike is not good enough to handle that.
Yeah,
so.
You got to have like a $10,000 mountain bike these days, too. It's crazy. They're as much as cars now.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Both of my cars together will cost less than some bikes.
I know.
For sure.
It's insane.
But
what do you see when you're out and about, like on the trails and stuff, do you have any pet peeves that bother you that other people do?
Trash.
Yeah.
God, I fucking hate trash.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. You brought it up here, so you clearly have a place to put it. It was either in your backpack or in your pocket or whatever. And sometimes if it's water bottles, I'll give it to them that they forgot it, maybe, even if it's empty. But I just cannot stand trash on the hike. It bothers me to no end.
Especially when you're trying to enjoy a beautiful place and it's public land and all that sort of thing, dude. It's like,
think of all the rest of us that are playing here.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? It's like fixing your divot on a green. We're all playing on this course.
Right.
We're all hiking this trail. We all want to see the beautiful waterfall at the end of this. None of us want to see your Snickers or Cliff Bar wrapper on the side of the mountain.
Or your dog shit bag.
Or your dude.
Here we go.
I mean, at least you bagged it. I appreciate that. But the fact that you tied it up and then placed it. You didn't toss it. You placed it. There's no forgetting this. You had dog shit in your hand. At no point did you get a phone call like, oh, hold on, let me put this down and handle what was happening over here. Right. Oh, I got an important call about an algorithm I had to figure it. No, you fucking picked up hot, steaming, fresh out of a living body dog shit. You flipped it inside out, tied it in a knot, and put it back down. You were not going to get it on the way back, you fucking liar, because it's still there, and it looks crunchy right now.
You can see it sweating inside the bag.
Oh,
Like,
man.
Jesus.
It's just no respect. And these people don't live here.
Yeah.
Or they're not from here. If they're shitting on the environment like that, they're not from here. They didn't grow up with the pristineness that I grew up with. They're like, yeah, we're going to keep this forever. And the problem is the secret got out. And then we legalized weed, and that fucked up everything.
Yeah.
Everyone moved here.
Maybe
for
it's
weed.
short-term memory then.
I guess.
Yeah.
But you walk back, you're like, oh, I've got that same dog bag. Man, fuck whoever left that there.
Yeah.
That was you!
Well, I find
I
myself
don't know.
picking up other people's shit now, too. But whatever.
I hate dogs. I grew up with them.
Yeah?
I don't hate them.
I'm a dog lover.
I don't hate them.
Not
Hate
a
them.
cat guy, though.
I own a cat. It's
Yeah.
the best cat in the world, and I know that every cat owner says that, and every cat owner is wrong.
Right?
80% of cats are the worst cats in the world. There's only 20% of cats that are cool. It's because cats take after their owners, and that's the problem. Is most of cat owners.
Well, dogs do, too, man.
Yeah, but not like this.
Yeah.
So dogs take after your outward personality.
Okay.
Cats take after your inward personality, right? So whoever you are in your most private mind, when you are alone in your house all day, whoever that person is, that is the personality your cat will take. So if you're neurotic, even though you can hide it, your cat's gonna get that neurosis. Your dog, if you're outwardly, it's more of the external stuff. It's the representation. You're in a group of people, and this is who you are, and that's what a dog does. But a cat takes after who you are, and most cat owners are psychos. Most cat owners are crazy people, and so I think most cats completely suck because of that.
Right.
For sure. 80% of cats suck. Although I think mine's in the top. I have not met one person who wasn't allergic to cats that didn't like my cat.
Hell yeah.
And my cat sheds all over him. And they're like, God, this is the best cat ever. I don't care.
The only cat that we've had came from my wife, actually. And it was more like a dog than anything, man. I was
Same
so
here.
bummed when that cat ran away. 'Cause
Yeah.
it would play fetch. I mean, it was a Russian.
Oh, he didn't run away. He got killed.
Russian gray or Russian blue
Okay.
or something.
I don't know.
Just total mysterious.
I don't know
cat
cats that much.
breed,
I have a
like-
tuxedo cat.
Okay.
And he greets me at the door every time.
Yeah, that's a good
he'll
cat.
Play fetch, all
Yeah.
that shit. But I one cat per single male, one cat.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
Not the cat woman,
Ugh.
right? 100 cats in an apartment or
Ugh.
something. So what's next for you? What do you got coming up? You guys got anything scheduled other than the Boulder Comedy Show streaming? And
So, I have. What's next for me? Well, I don't know. We're in the middle of a quarantine.
Yeah.
Who knows?
strange times.
As of June 24th, which is a Wednesday, as of June 24th, my current plan is moving my business and my world into the internet. I've had this plan for since Marijuana Radio, really, but I've had this plan for several years, and it's like a 3-phase plan that basically results in building a digital TV channel, and so that's what I'm working on now. Immediately in the next 12 months, 6 to 12 months, it's really focusing on Boulder and that show there in Boulder, Colorado. I got a really good audience there. I mean, last year, in 2019, we saw just over 10,000 people.
Wow.
Once a week. It's a one night a week show. And so I am really focusing on continuing what I've built there. I have a lot of pride towards that show, and I have a lot of pride towards going to college in Boulder, starting in Boulder, and seeing it as this is my town. Even though I don't live here.
Yeah, I
this
want to
is-
come
this
up and
is
see you
my
once it gets
town.
back going.
And
For
I'm back at least once a month. So to say I don't live here, comics laugh at me when I say that. But, I live where my cat is. We'll say that.
Okay.
Currently, my cat's in Colorado, but I do. I live in LA. But I am so dedicated to that show and to the fans of that show that I have I'm just trying to make sure that I keep them entertained, make sure that they know that I'm here. I started a Boulder Comedy Show podcast where I basically introduce comedians that have done the show. And the future version of it will be once they do the show, they fly home Monday. On Tuesday we record. Wednesday the episode gets dropped. It's kind of how it's going to go. But until then, it's previous comic. I mean, we've had 7 years. We've had over 2,000 comics on the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
That's great.
So I'm going to talk to them. It's about 30 to 45 minutes. It's on the Boulder Comedy Show website, bouldercomedyshow.com. And basically, I talk to them. I say, how and when did you get started? And then that devolves into comedy talk. And then we're done.
Cool.
30, 45 minutes, quick thing. And I got a bunch of merch that I'm rolling out. Some is already rolled out. I got Boulder Comedy Show pint glasses, 3 different types of shirts, and I'm kind of moving into some more merch stuff there. Once it gets started, I'm going to live stream the Boulder Comedy Show as well. Excuse me.
Oh, that's great.
I'm going to live stream it. To be honest, between me and you and our listeners, I will record it. And then I will edit out issues, and I will present it as a live stream that just happens to look like it came off really well.
Right.
So that's kind of my goal there. And then, building Brent Gill into my brand. So everything I'm building under my brand right now, Brent Gill Comedy, just me.
Yeah.
Boulder Comedy Show is under me. And so doing the Brent Gill Show, which is now absorbed Information. It's absorbed Boulder Comedy Show. So the content that I'm putting out for Boulder and for Information is now Boulder Comedy Show is going to stay under that name, but the Information, the Weird News Show, is going to be under Brent Gill. And so building my YouTube channel, which all of that leads into the digital TV channel. And that's kind of where that's my 12-month, 2-year, and 5-year plan.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny shit, man. I love
I
what you're
appreciate
doing.
it. I'm glad
I
you
want you
enjoy
to
it.
keep doing it.
I'm glad you
And
enjoy
I'm
it.
super stoked that you're a Colorado boy as
Hell
well.
yeah, dude.
So.
I will be a Colorado boy for the rest of my life.
Cheers
I'll live
to that.
wherever I live, but I grew up, I became an adult in Colorado.
Yeah.
I matured in Colorado, and this is my home. I'm a mountain guy. I don't like the beach. I like going to the forest and the mountains of California. That's where I'm like, this is dope.
Oh, that's great.
This is dope. Yeah.
Good spots.
Yeah,
Good spots
so-
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you want to tell everybody where they can find you if they want to check it out? I know we're coming up on time and stuff here, but
You did a
we
pretty
really
good job. Hour and a half. Almost.
Yeah, it was awesome. It went really quick. I know we kind of turned it into the car show,
Yeah.
but I had
We
a
had about a
great time.
20-minute car show extravaganza.
And we want to have you back eventually,
Yeah,
too.
well,
So
come on back.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm doing. So the part of the Brent Gill Show, by the way, is it's whatever I want it to be, and I'm trying to really keep it
As it
open-ended
should be.
because it's whatever interests me, and if it interests me, I'm sure it's going to interest someone else.
Right.
And so I am doing a bunch of car stuff. I'm for sure going to be making a video about the supercharging of my convertible of my BMW. I'm going to redo. I'm doing like a DIY auto shop, where you can do it yourself and you can rent like a guy to help you. So I'm going to be doing videos of that, of me fixing my own cars, because I don't have the space for it.
Sure.
And I want to do that, and I think those videos. So it's it's car stuff. It's just a lot of stand-up comedy, and it's a lot of comedy-related interviews or comedy-related shows, like weird news shows, stuff like that. So you can find me on Instagram. I'm most active on there. Just search I am Brent Gill, or just search Brent Gill and you'll find me. And then Facebook is next. If you search Brent Gill Comedy, that's the next one I got. And I'll be 100% honest. I've been real happy not doing a lot on social media.
Yeah,
I've
it
been
can suck up your fucking
I've been really
life
happy
real
with
quick.
it. I think social media is important, and I love sharing my projects with them. I really do. But I don't, these past few quarantine months, not huge. So Instagram, then Facebook, and then Twitter is last if you want to read something I posted 5 years ago. That's also I am Brent Gill. But just search me online. I'm going to redo my... and then, of course, search the Boulder Comedy Show, which is bouldercomedyshow.com. For 7 years, it's been to Facebook, so my Google Analytics are pushing you to that first. But BoulderComedyShow.com is where the magic's at for that. And again, that's phase 1, so my content's more consistent there. And phase 2 is the Brent Gill Show. I need a couple more people, as we were talking about before we started. A couple more people, an editor, Photoshop person that can kind of help with a couple things. Maybe just an ops manager that might have all that, or maybe one editor.
You want people to contact you if they're listening to this?
Yeah. If you're in the digital space and you can work efficiently in a digital space, I don't care what state you're in. I don't care what country you're in.
Right.
But if you can handle that kind of stuff where I can send you, an hour and a half of footage, or I need a Photoshop file for this, or I need you to, manage the people that are doing the editing and the Photoshop stuff and make sure that things stay on track, even me stay on track. Because I have ADD too, and I have 100,000. I have 100,000. I have $100 million ideas. So if that's something you hit me up. However, there's a lot of easy ways to find me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for your time. Thanks for making
pleasure.
the drive. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Jeremy, you good back there?
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
Jeremy, you want to talk about cars for another half hour?
Hey, what do you got?
Hey, we can hang out and drink, too, man. So, all right.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.